Canadian Mennonite University is an innovative Christian university rooted in Anabaptist faith tradition. It is a diverse university community of people who come from across Canada and from 28 countries worldwide. The purpose of this video is to perform the Environmental Sustainability Assessment of Canadian Mennonite University and suggest some strategies to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions to the environment. In the school year 2021, there are 902 full-time students enrolled across all programs at Shaftesbury campus and Mennonite Simons College, with up to 200 students live in on-campus dormitory and apartment facilities. Total emissions of CMU by activity in a normal situation are about 1,264 tons carbon dioxide equivalent. The emission sources of CMU come from the natural gas used for heating, electricity, equipment owned by CMU, garbage, paper consumption. Refrigeration includes in any area that use coolant, such as air conditioning and fridge, and the vehicles of staff commuting. The total emissions of CMU equal to 2,927 barrels of oil consumed. The emissions also can be avoided by 430 tons of waste recycled instead of landfilled. The total carbon dioxide emissions can be sequestered by 20,903 seedlings grown for 10 years. Various stakeholders will be impacted by the CMU's emissions, such as students, staff, faculty members, alumni, donors, Folio Cafe and its customers, Commonwealth Bookstore and its customers, Winnipeg residents, Manitoba residents, and the whole world in general. Based on the Climate Atlas of Canada, Earth is now warmer than it has been for over 10,000 years. Human activity is causing greenhouse gases to accumulate in the atmosphere. The resulting greenhouse effect is trapping more and more heat in the air and oceans. Temperatures are rising, and weather extremes risk becoming the new normal. It is predicted that in 2051, the number of days that the temperature of Winnipeg is higher than 30 Celsius will be 52 days, comparing to 14 days in 2005. CMU has taken numbers of ways to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, including setting up water fountains throughout the campus, setting up the recycling bin in every classroom and common areas, re-insulating some parts of the building on campus to prevent heat losses, turning down the heat in the building in evening and weekend. On Earth Day 2020, CMU is officially Climate Smart certified. This certification marks a significant milestone in CMU's effort to address its role in climate change and sets the university on a path towards continuous improvement in the stewardship of the resources, people, and planet entrusted to its care. Also, CMU's newest initiative, a composting project on campus, constitutes the first steps toward reducing greenhouse gas emissions by lowering the amount of waste built up in landfills that contribute to the rising release of methane into the atmosphere. But CMU can do better than that. There's still room for improvement. Heat is the largest source of CO2 emissions at CMU, with about more than 1,000 tons of CO2 equivalent emissions per year. There are numbers of things CMU has done to prevent the heat losses and reduce the consumption of natural gas. However, there is one heritage-designed building on our campus that is using the energy inefficiently, but very tricky and costly to improve. In the long run, CMU can apply for a grant with Heritage Manitoba to develop a conservation plan for the heritage-designed building to increase the insulation and efficiency in that building. Staff commuting is the second largest source of CO2 emissions at CMU, with about 75 tons of CO2 equivalent annually. How to reduce this source of emissions? Some strategies can be applied, such as encouraging employees to use carpooling as much as possible, creating bike renting for employees and students, and charging parking fee for internal combustion engine vehicle of employees and students. electricity contributed about 10 tons of carbon dioxide emissions in total emissions at CMU. Some actions can be done to reduce the consumption of electricity at CMU, such as keep doing the communication about saving electricity on our campus and reinforcing them annually, and installing the light sensors in all common areas around our campus. About 13 tons of waste of CMU was ended up into the landfills, releasing 6.3 tons of carbon dioxide to the environment. We can reduce the waste to the landfill by doing well on separate the recycled materials. Learning from Red River College, we can put signage above the bins to make sure that people know what to go where. Remove all the garbage bin and recycling bin from the classroom so the students and staff will use the bins in hallways. Create the designated place for the old batteries and the old electronics device from students and staff, and creating the recycling bin for pen, marker, and send them to the stable recycling program. Paper consumption contributed 16 tons of greenhouse gas emissions at CMU. There are several ways to reduce the consumption of paper on our campus, which are trying to use paperless as much as possible, installing the printing apps to help staff control the paper usage, and putting up signage on how to save the printing papers at the printing station. A proverb from China says, 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Everyone has a responsibility to the sustainability of our university and to the goal of net zero carbon dioxide emissions in the near future. We cannot do it without the help from you, and with a single step at a time, you can make the changes happen soon.